Well, I had some old friends in life that sent me a message on YouTube and seeing how I was doing, and I met them over here on what used to be William Charles Court, Kiva and Jeff. Look at guys, they erased our memory completely, and that's kind of the subject of the day, is how much we change and how different of people we are. I don't really use Facebook ever. Look at, they changed it to Element Way. It used to be William Charles Court. This was the spot that everybody that was down and out could come, and all the housing looked more like this on the right here. Now there's no room for the lower end of society that needs a little bit of help anymore, if you haven't noticed in life. Now you got to have millions of bucks to live here. We lived right up here on the left. Anyway, they gave me a shout out, said how you doing, and subscribed, and I just thought it was a good time to have a conversation about the past and stuff like that, and how hard it is to look back and realize that that's not even who you are. I look back and they all used to look like this here. I mean, just bigger buildings and everything. And I'm not that guy anymore. And I think that's where I made a big mistake on YouTube, is I was trying to harness who I was and not who I am. Because I feel like I missed out on an opportunity. Probably because of drugs and alcohol and the way I was living and everything. And we're causing trouble. I was causing trouble back here. And me, Jeff, and Kiva actually ended up moving to Las Vegas, and wild times. We had good times. We had bad times like anything else. And we all met here. All of us were kind of going through our own things and life. And anyway, I just went back down memory lane a little bit and showed them a picture of what happened to the old housing. And time keeps moving on. Time just keeps ticking by. Next thing you know, you look in the mirror and you're not the same person you were. And I think when I started my YouTube, I wanted to harness who I was and not who I am. And I learned that lesson this last month. I look back on my YouTube videos and they're horrible. They're horrible. I could literally just delete the page and start over. I'm not going to, but because I kept trying to harness somebody I wasn't instead of the person that I had become. I thought that the guy I was, out drinking every day, traveling the country, acting stupid, I thought that that's what people would probably want to hear about or see in reference to. And then I learned, I'm just more at peace. I look, like I was telling him today, I look for peace now. I used to look for nothing but trouble. Now if I see two decisions in front of me, I mean, don't get me wrong, I make mistakes. Everybody does, and I do my best. But now if there's a decision out in front of me, I try to do the peaceful thing. I want to bring peace into my life. Like when I'm on the boat launch or something and people get nippy with me or anything like that, if it would have been 20 years ago, I would have flew off the handle. I would have ended up in jail. Now everything I do, I try to do in a peaceful, this is for me. I think that's what you really got to get to in life, is you got to find peace in yourself. And I think that just comes with age. There's nothing you can do about it. I made so many bad decisions. And then I started this YouTube channel a year ago, and I was trying to harness into what I used to be, and I'm just not that guy. So there's just no way to harness into that. I'm just not that guy anymore. And that's good. I've learned this year that growing up is okay. It's hard to make a decision to grow up. It just happens. And I'm kind of just growing up into who I am. Instead of being an idiot trying to be an adult. Like most of my hobbies, like when I'm on the motorcycle today, they're kind of just for myself. I don't even have any friends anymore. Like I said, I don't even use Facebook. On a rare occasion, the only reason I even have a Facebook is because you can't buy and sell anything for cars, car parts, boat motors, anything like that. You can't do anything without Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist is basically shut down. I sold my last car on Craigslist, and I'm going to miss it because you really got decent people when you have to pay, and I had no problem paying to list my cars, but it just, I only got like 17 views. I did end up selling it, but I knew right away it's coming to an end. Though Craigslist is pretty much a dead horse on the side of the road. Anyway, this is becoming probably the best ride in Green Bay. If you're going to Walmart, you go through Holmgren Way. Forget about going to the one on the west side. That place is a dump. Anyway, yeah, nobody really, so don't feel bad. I didn't give anybody my YouTube. Jeff. I didn't give it to anybody, not even my family, because who knows what kind of controversial things might slip out of my mouth, or I didn't want the attention anymore. Not like that. I really always wanted to learn how to use a camera. I always wanted to learn how to use a camera and try to learn how to use editing software, and it's a solo hobby. That's the topic we're on. It's a solo hobby. And it's just like riding a motorcycle is a solo hobby. This is becoming my go-to little trip here. I stay behind everybody on Holmgren Way, and it'll take you all the way through Green Bay. And there's some cool sights too. There's like a whole bunch of birds up here. There's a military base, I believe, back here that comes through back here. It's peaceful. Like you can see, there's nobody even behind me anymore. Or you can just do your 25 miles an hour, and you can go all back roads to the Pure Walmart, the nicest Walmart in all of the Green Bay area. So you take yourself on a little 30-mile-an-hour ride. It's great if you want to have a little vlog like this. This will be my first vlog on this road. But I found it the other day because it never used to go all the way through like this. So it really wasn't viable. But now it is. It's great. There it is, United States Army Reserve. So you got the Army Reserves here, and you'll see a bunch of their installations here. And I realized that in most of all the Army stuff, in most of my videos in the last year and stuff, I was almost portraying somebody. I'm not even that guy anymore. And then the older you get, the more you look back and think, that guy wasn't even, just because he was fun to be around and everything, it wasn't a good guy. So now, like I was telling him, I like to just do hobbies. Once you hit middle age, you want to do hobbies like fishing's for yourself. You can't rely on people. You know, it's real easy when there's a bunch of people drinking and you got a lot of beer and alcohol to get a bunch of people around and you're all, acting stupid and everything. That's all you're going to get around you is other people that want to act stupid, and it's just a bad... When you grow up, it's time, you want to find hobbies that are conducive to a more positive environment. That's why I ride my motorcycle, because I'll tell you what, motorcycle riders get a bad rap. Almost anybody I meet on a motorcycle has the same intentions as me. They're very American. They're looking for peace and quiet in their life. They love freedom. Same with fishing. There's something about these two hobbies that have really resonated with me. Fishing and motorcycle riding really strikes an American chord of freedom. Go out there on your own boat. You're harnessed to it. You're really close to a motor. You're connected to it with your hands. You go almost back to primitive. I don't know. I left the house today. I was so tired, and the moment you get on a bike and you start riding it, it's like it zaps energy right into you. It raises your level of focus. You have time to concentrate on your own thoughts. It's almost like listening to music or something when you're in high school in your bedroom. That's what riding a motorcycle is like. You can kind of daydream without getting complacent. You can daydream about or have thoughts about your future. And so, yeah, so today was kind of like that. The roads are all kind of buckling up from the heat. I've been finding them on my motorcycle all over, trying to be careful. You did come out of nowhere from the heat wave and then the extreme weather conditions. So yeah, last time I checked, you guys were living in, I don't know, I thought I seen you moved out of the state. And I hope everything's going good with you. It's just that, you know, the thing about me is, it's not that I ignore anybody from my past. It's that I think sometimes, in retrospect, I'm embarrassed of who I was in the past. I made a lot of bad decisions in life. So, a lot of bad decisions I made. And you don't realize they were as bad as they were until you get older. And I don't know, maybe it's just like a way when you, like I never tell anybody about this YouTube, and I hope maybe it's just the fact that I'm embarrassed of my past, you know? I try to only look towards the fucking, I try to only look towards the future of, I almost went right out in traffic. I almost try to just look forward to the future opportunities and such, because the past is kind of, we all have to own our past, and it's embarrassing. Must have served, I don't know how many sentences, 20 times I've been to jail, and it used to be almost a badge of honor. That's how I used to look at it. I used to look at it like a badge of honor. How many times I went to jail and how many fights I got in. And now I just look back and I think how stupid I was. I mean, there's always a time for fights and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. There's always a time to fight for what's right, but I was just an asshole. And I thought I was so much fun. I thought I was so right and so much fun to be around, and I knew everything, and nobody could tell me anything. And maybe it was fun. Maybe there were good times and fun times, but let me tell you what, there were a lot of bad times too. Just life's, there's more meaning to life than how you can get your next case of beer, or who you can rip off on a car sale, or how much pot you can smoke. You know, how many women you can date. You know, and the older you get, it's about accepting your faults. And now it's tough because you only know one life, and then you're growing into an adult. And it's almost like you don't even know who you are anymore. And the only reason I brought that up is because Jeff said, man, I don't even hardly recognize you anymore. And I'm thinking, you know what I was thinking when you said that? I was thinking, I don't recognize myself anymore. I don't even recognize myself anymore. And then you start thinking about it and realizing the time just keeps going by, and you're a human being like everybody else. When I was living over there at William Charles Court, I felt like I had eternity. When you're in your 20s, you feel like you rule the world. Nobody can tell you anything. Nobody's going to tell you you don't rule the world. Who's going to tell you ain't listening to them? I'm glad I turned my life around when I did. Or I'd be living off of the side of the road. I'd be living out of dumpsters right now if I didn't, if I kept going the way I was going. Anyway, there's a million ways this back way here. There's a million ways to Walmart. You could go straight. It's just a really nice ride. I look down here because I look for, I look at my time, and it's easy to post 20-minute videos. This De Pere is really nice. This is Westwood Elementary, it's called. I don't know, this is a really nice part of town. What is this, West De Pere? Yeah, look at it. It's like a different world over here compared to Green Bay. And it's not even far. Peaceful. Tucked back here, just out of Green Bay. But you can tell just by how clean the environment is and how everybody treats it, how much nicer it is than west side of Green Bay is turning into slums. Anyway, just giving you a different view. I dang near got myself lost back in these neighborhoods here. I'll find my way out of it. I wanted to give everybody something different to look at. I think a lot of people see me as who I was and not who I am because they don't really know who I am. We used to hang out here all the time. I can't believe I don't remember all these roads. We used to hang out here all the time. Yep, I remember where I am now. I'm not, everybody kind of sees me for who I was because I was such a loudmouth, arrogant, knew everything, drinking, partying, traveling, wild man that only cared about himself. And I think I made such an impression, good and bad, on people that everybody from my past seems to just remember me for that, who I was, and not, what I've become as a person, how I've grown as a person to make better and wiser decisions. And you're not going to catch me screaming and, taking off to the next city and burglarizing, and that guy's not me anymore. That guy just isn't me. So I thought that was just a really good talk about the past and like how things change. And I think, going forward with my YouTube, you can already see over the last, if you haven't noticed how my channel's changed, if you just look at my thumbnails, you can tell. They used to be wild and chaotic and funny story, blah, 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 blah. And now it's peaceful. This is me going fishing. This is a hobby. This is this. This is that. There's no more. I'm already trying to meld into who I am. What the hell? How cool is that? They got a Culver's. Anyway, that's the story. I'm here to pick up some Monster Energy drinks and walk around.